I'm Kelly Rae Kirkpatrick.
All right, and where are you from and what's your connection to urban agriculture?
My name is Kelly Rae Kirkpatrick. I'm from Rochester, Minnesota, and my connection to urban agriculture is that I am an urban farmer. I am also an Olmsted County Extension Master Gardener volunteer. I am a Minnesota Water Steward, and I formerly sat on the Rochester City Council and was a member of our State Board of Water and Soil Resources. I'm also the Water Steward for the City of Rochester.
Amazing. Can you tell us a little bit about what does that mean to be able to see all those different parts of bureaucracy, and how does that help change your view of the landscape of the urban agriculture conversation?
Being an advocate for the people, pretty much always, before I was even on the City Council, the voices of the people are very important to me. And when I wrote my thesis in 2019 on increasing food security through urban agriculture, I felt that if we could bring back some of those old ways, not the traditional old First Nation people ways of saving our seeds from year to year, but just as recently as World War II, when we contributed 40% of our food from private lands to all of the eaters in our country. So when we think about that, why aren't we growing more of our own food? Why have policies in cities reduced access to land? Why is the economic value paramount when we forget about the value of the people and the value of the environment? We've learned about sustainability since the 1990s, and it's a three-legged stool. Economics should not come before the people and the planet. They should all be together and thought of as one, as something holistically.
Absolutely. So what does that mean then? What does urban agriculture even mean? What should that landscape look like?
Urban ag means to me everything from that late 60s, early 70s back to the landers, the chicken wire and wooden stakes where folks just grew their own food. But it also means foodscaping, using edible landscaping as a way to grow your own food, but doing it ornamentally, mixing ornamentals with edibles and thinking about texture and line and color, much like a designer would, who you would hire to, accentuate your housing or your hardscaping that's on your property. So looking at the cycles of the land, of the earth, our weather, and knowing what we can do in our own little space to produce more of our own food, whether that be for others, for ourselves, or actually for income.
Absolutely. So what do you think are some of those barriers that people are encountering about why they can't be involved in this urban agriculture sphere? What are the barriers that government might offer, or even our neighbors?
Barriers to land access are huge. Even our multifamily units that we have, for instance, in Rochester, with minimized setbacks that we have with the new Unified Development Code, don't give any room whatsoever for any of those residents to grow their own food on their own property. Then we've got folks that can't afford to even purchase their own home because the costs are so high. That's not just happening in Rochester, southeast Minnesota, it's happening all over the country. So as industries expand and our economy gets bigger, property taxes come into play, housing values go up, and inflation, our hourly rate for what we all work for, hasn't kept up with all of that. So less people are able to access land, less people are able to have the time to grow their own food because they're out there busy working, and we've become, I guess I'd call it, brainwashed by big box stores, save more, live better. Well, you have to spend money to save money, and you don't necessarily live better when we are killing our host, the environment, by purchasing a lot more consumer products. So kind of looking at what past generations did, living closer to home, helping each other to grow, swapping the tomatoes for the beans and that kind of thing. Having neighborhood cores that help each other, I think, is really important.
Absolutely. But of course, one trouble we come into is that those were quite a few generations ago, that where most people live so close to land. So how do we recoup some of that knowledge, not only with individuals, but with those neighborhood associations or with city governments and those sorts of things?
I think if people are really interested and they look around or just ask 3 steps back, 3 to 4 people, you're able to find what you need in your community. For instance, in Rochester, we have a wonderful agency called Our Neighbors Community Neighborhood Resource Center, and that's great. It helps neighborhoods form neighborhood associations. They can create their own policies. They learn to advocate against some of the growth changes that may happen, or for some of the growth changes that may happen that are going to impact the way folks live within a neighborhood. They can advocate to parks and rec to help install community gardens. Get involved with the master gardeners. Get involved with the folks that you see doing things that you want to do and help grow community, because the power is really to the people. Look for classes in saving seeds. Look for classes from people who are experienced that teach how to grow food, and learn more about those things that you want to do by asking where to find it and just simply looking for it. And sometimes when we can form small coalitions, 5, 6 people, that power is there to kind of grow something and really take it further out in each individual little sphere to make some big impact.
Absolutely, thank you. So what do you think are the things that people need more of in the future then to take that power and that knowledge and to build the dream? What is the dream?
Ooh, boy, that dream that dream has changed a lot since I was your age to being 60 now. I see that quote unquote American dream passing further and further into the future than it was. Having children anywhere from 34 to 24 years old, I see it as very difficult from the 24-year-old standpoint to the 34-year-olds being able to get a good job that's going to add an income that will potentially purchase a home. But that land access is critical for people to be able to grow food, for an urban agriculture environment to evolve. And then there's the city planners, and then your city councils or your park boards, those types of agencies and those folks that we put in places to help us develop and grow our cities, or not grow our cities in the way some cities are, not in the best way, that takes away that power from the people. So really getting involved, civically involved with your community, your small neighborhood, the schools, understanding how the children are working. And I like to say it's the teamwork that makes the dream work. The more folks you can bring into and understand with perhaps a different perspective than you have, but similar alignment. You know, the kids in school need food. They've got a lot of land. What kinds of things can you grow on school land in the summer? Can you set up a volunteer pool that can water and use the school's water to grow food there only when the school is not in session? There's all kinds of ways to think outside of the box and work with our cities and our counties to be able to do the things that we need to do.
Absolutely. And what does that do for the health of our communities when people have that access to food, especially young kids, to get them in the dirt or even just to get produce in their hands? What does that do for the health and well-being of our communities?
Oh my gosh, there are so many ways that growing your own food helps on a personal level, on a familial level, on a community level. A couple of decades ago, there was a book called No Child Left in the Woods, talking about biophilia, the need we have for nature. Digging in the soil, planting things, nurturing something through growth helps you to grow. It's a mental health stimulant. It boosts your endorphins. There's ways to teach children about their natural environment, so as they grow up, they're going to take more care and they will be better citizens and stewards of our earth. Then just talking about the basics. Fresh food has far more nutrient value than something that's been sitting on the shelf in the grocery store for maybe 7 days, or shipped across the country, or sitting in a refrigerator for 7 days. Canned food has far less nutrients than even frozen food. Many studies have been done where frozen food has more nutrient value than something that's been harvested, trucked, waiting in storage for 2 and 3 weeks. So just learning more about that. So there's nutritional impacts, there's mental health impacts. We all know sweating outside in the hot sun growing food in the summertime is certainly a lot more physical exercise than sitting and scrolling on your phone or watching Netflix. So there's physical activity that's incorporated. Vitamin D helps to boost the mood. It makes our bones stronger. Your immune system gets amped up. So being outside in the summer sun is great. Wear your sunscreen. There's all kinds of ways that I could go on and on about what growing things and keeping your hands in the dirt can do. And the younger you start, I think the better off we are going to be as a population in general. That's important.
So if there's one thing that you'd like to tell people that don't understand about urban agriculture, what is the one thing you want them to come away with? Or maybe what's one thing that might surprise people to know?
It is so easy to start growing your own food. It is so inexpensive. There are seed swaps. There are seed libraries where you can get your seeds all on your own. Seed starting is a little more difficult. There is so much power in that sun. Sitting it on a windowsill in the shade is not going to do it. You're going to have to invest in a light that really illuminates those seedlings. But you don't need to rent a tiller. You don't need to go out and buy all kinds of expensive things. Go dumpster dive for those large cardboard boxes, cover up the area of the grass that you want to grow your food in, throw down some compost from your local compost facility, and you can plant those seeds right into that 4-inch compost. Put your little starts right into that compost. Don't break that cardboard barrier, and you have an instant garden for so inexpensive, and none of those weeds are going to come through. You've basically gotten rid of all those pathogens underneath. You've blocked them, and you're putting on fresh compost or topsoil, and you are good to go. Growing food is so much easier than a lot of people think it is, and it's important to do.
That's a really good point. Thank you. And what is a question you feel people aren't asking enough in this sphere? Like, what do you wish people would even ask about? Or maybe what something's missing from these conversations.
Yeah, I'm wondering, as I've been walking around and learning, listening, and chatting with people at the conference here today, I'm compelled to ask folks who are much younger than me, 20 to 30 years younger than me, why are you getting into this? What motivates you to become a grower in an urban space? So that prompts me to think, why do so many people not want to just grow a 10-foot by 10-foot area in their backyard where there's sun? What is prohibiting people from growing, from taking like a south-facing patio like we see out here? Pots are expensive, but can we get them donated? Can we go to the Goodwill or to Savers to get some of these pots? Go to Lowe's or Home Depot and get them donated to your nonprofit. There's a ton of food that you can grow in large pots, and you can multi-crop. You can have the carrots around the edge, the tomato in the middle, and beans leaning up against the brick column, right? So I'm wondering what's prohibiting people from growing their own food. Why do we not have more people growing food? I'd like to know that. Is it because it's hard? Is it because they don't want to be out in the sun? I think it's because people don't have time. I think it's because people think it's difficult. I think it's because there's too many extracurricular activities. I think it's because there's too much social media.
Thank you. Are
Thank
there
you.
any extra stories or things you'd like to share with us today?
No, I'm just glad there's folks like you out there, and like Renewing the Countryside, and just people that are available to help others to do what they need to do and push forward things that are really truly of value for the people and that create a good future for all, not just a good future for the few.
Well said.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.